Welcome to our kitchen. Today we prepare a medieval bread, a flavorful and aromatic walnut bread with spices and fresh herbs. We start with the ingredients. We need walnuts, white wheat flour, sourdough, a bit of white cane sugar, 1 onion and the spices, cinnamon, nutmeg, cloves, black pepper, both round pepper and long pepper, ginger and cinnamon leaves. And then the fresh herbs. The medieval author doesn't tell us which herbs to use. He just wrote erbebone, that means good herbs. Based on other medieval recipes, we chose from our garden mint, rosemary and thyme. First, we prepare the dough. We mix the flour, the sourdough, 2 pinches of salt and warm water. We knead until the dough reaches a smooth and elastic consistency. The medieval author specifies to use white wheat flour. He says nothing about the leavening, but for obtaining a good bread with his method, some kind of leavening is necessary. Sourdough, or just a piece of bread dough from the previous day, were the most common leavening since the antiquity. We let the dough rest for 1 hour. The time can change depending on the temperature and the quantity and type of leavening. Meanwhile, we prepare the other ingredients. We grind in a mortar just a bit of sugar and then add the spices. We are using just a little white cane sugar. This is not a sweet bread. In many medieval dishes, sugar is used just to balance the flavors, and it's often considered more a spice than a sweetener. The medieval author of the recipe tells us to use sweet and strong spices, and further on in the cookbook he writes the recipes for the sweet spice mix, cloves, ginger, cinnamon and cinnamon leaves, and the strong spice mix, cloves, nutmeg, round pepper and long pepper. Then we add the ginger, peeled and minced, and a quarter of an onion. The medieval author suggests grating it. If you prefer, you can just mince and add it in the mortar. Now we add the walnuts. Then we finely mince the fresh herbs and add them to the walnut paste. This step will help us to grind them more easily. You can choose to pound everything until you obtain a smooth paste, or leave some bits of walnuts to give more texture to the bread. Then we lightly flour the dough and roll it into a sheet. We coat it with a walnut paste and knead until everything is well mixed. We chose to follow all the steps described by the medieval author of the recipe, but you can just mix everything without rolling the dough. Now we form a round bread and then flatten it. We let it rest for 15 or 20 minutes, and then cook the walnut bread in the oven. In our oven it took 20 minutes. This recipe is part of an anonymous Venetian cookbook written in the 14th century. This aromatic walnut bread, full of spices and fresh herbs, was not an everyday bread for common people, but was intended for the tables of the wealthiest. Now we let the bread cool, and we are ready to serve it. This spicy and aromatic walnut bread is a delicious way to experience the flavors of a medieval banquet.